Hey everyone, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today we're going to be checking out the line of Pace Edwards JackRabbit tonneau covers. Today we have it installed on a Silverado, but they're all going to work the same regardless on what pickup truck you actually have. When it comes to picking out a tonneau cover for your truck, there's a ton of different options out there. And with this particular style, I feel like it's a good general purpose middle of the road cover, one you really can't go wrong with. And I say that for a few different reasons. One of them being, I think it looks really good, being that it's flush mount, has a modern appearance to it. It's going to actually keep the items inside of your truck bed secure, being that it locks and has aluminum on the bottom side. And with how it fits and everything, it should do a pretty good job of keeping those contents dry whenever you get inclement weather. As far as how it's going to look on your truck, it really don't get too much better, and that's because this is a flush mounted system, meaning that the rails that hold the tonneau cover, when they're sitting on top of your bed rails, they're super flush and blend in really good. They don't take up a whole lot of space at all. And these are available in two different colors. So we have the matte black finish, which I'm personally a fan of. It looks a little more modern, at least in my opinion, and it matches the plastic that's on top of a lot of bed rails pretty good. So helps blend in, but it's also available in more of a gloss black type finish too. So, if that's your style, you can pick that one up. With that said, you have a vinyl top, right? And it kind of puts off that classic tonneau cover look. Some people like it, some people don't. With this particular one, I think it looks good. The vinyl seems to be of pretty high quality, but if you're looking for something a little bit different, there's the same models of these, but completely aluminum. So you always have that to look into as well. I feel like too, with this hybrid style, being vinyl on the top and aluminum on the bottom makes it a little bit easier to operate, feels a little bit lighter, and that vinyl has more give and allows it to roll up a little bit better. But that's just something that I've noticed, not really a huge deal. Some of the things that I myself wondered, and a lot of other people, being vinyl, is this thing going to be all faded and dull looking after a couple years? And I can actually speak from some personal experience. About 2.5 or 3 years ago, I got my brother-in-law one of these. It wasn't the JackRabbit, but it was a Pace Edwards, very similar to this, and had this same hybrid deal going on with the aluminum and vinyl on the top. And his truck's parked outside all the time, and he isn't the type of person to go over the top, cleaning everything and maintaining and protecting everything. And I was pretty surprised, actually, even after that amount of time, the vinyl did not look bad at all. There's a little bit of fading kind of starting to happen, but I feel like if you went back with some type of product and applied it to the vinyl, it would probably restore it right back to life, almost looking new. So if it were me and you end up going with something like this, probably it'd be a good habit to get into every now and again, to find some sort of product to apply to this vinyl. That way it'll hold up for a long time. If you do keep expensive tools or anything like that in the bed of your truck, this is going to help with security, especially if you have a locking tailgate, because this has a lock on it. And this is also how you operate the cover too. You were to turn this, and that would unlatch it and let it roll forward. But they give you a couple of keys. You lock that down, and then you're not able to turn this. So it would really make it, much more of a challenge for someone to get in here and take your stuff. I'm not saying that this is bulletproof by any means or anything along those lines. I'm sure if you really want it in, you could, but probably not going to be worthwhile to spend, that amount of time and effort to get into the bed of the truck. Something that you do need to think about whenever you are picking out a tonneau cover is if you ever plan on using a ladder rack or some other type of rail system to hold tools or kayaks or whatever the case may be. And I say that because a lot of times with these style of tonneau covers, they're going to cover up the stake pockets where you normally put that type of accessory. All right, but there is a solution. So if you ever think you might use something like that, or you know you're going to, they make this same cover system that has slots in it, so you can use T-track style accessories and still be able to have the tonneau cover and a ladder rack at the same time. As far as how the cover is going to work, pretty straightforward. When it's unlocked, you just turn the mechanism about 90 degrees and that'll unlock it, and it rolls up on its own, and it's pretty fast actually, at least on our truck. I probably wouldn't feel super comfortable with just letting it go. So you can apply a little bit of tension to this strap, and if you put too much tension on it and pull it outward, that's when it's actually going to lock that cover in place here. So it'll roll all the way up to the front of the canister, giving you pretty much full bed access. You know, the canister is going to take up a little bit of space in the front, but for what it is, it's pretty compact. So even on a short bed, you still got quite a bit of room in here to put items and whatnot. One of the things I do think is pretty cool though, when you go to close it, every now and again you'll hear it click and it'll lock into place. So you can cover the bed up a little bit more, so on and so forth. So if you have something that you want to keep covered in there, but something that's taller back here, you kind of get the best of both worlds. As far as the quality of construction goes, I feel like it's pretty good. You know, like I said before, good middle of the road option. All the metal parts are actually made from aluminum, so not going to have to worry about rust issues and things like that. And for the vinyl covered part, I kind of spoke to that earlier from my personal experience with it. And the seals and everything, you know, it's this pretty thick rubber seal here that when you close up the tailgate, it's going to push up against it and help create a weatherproof seal. Now with a tonneau cover like this on here, it should be water resistant. You know, I'd be lying to you if I said this is going to keep every drop of water out of the bed of your truck. This is not, it's not realistic. You know, if you were to go through a car wash or in heavy rains or something, you'll probably end up with a little bit of water inside, you know, if I'm being honest with you. But honestly, from my experience, that's more or less going to hold true across the board, just about whatever tonneau cover you end up putting on your truck. With the canister portion here at the front of the truck probably being the most vulnerable in terms of getting water inside, or let's say if your cover was closed and you had some snow, light snow on it, or it rained, whatever the case may be, and you open it up, all that water is going to go in the canister, right? And what they did to help with that is on each corner of the canister, there's going to be a drain. And so that drain tube goes outside of the truck in between the cab and the front of the bed. And so if any of that were to get accumulated in here, it'll drain out down to the ground and not just sit inside of the canister or in the bed of your truck. If you've determined you want one of these more heavy duty type covers, one of the hard covers like this, but you're not sure about, you know, the canister style or the other style, which flips up into a few different sections, there's a couple of things that you can take into consideration. One of them being, how do you use your truck? You know, a lot of people use fifth wheels and goosenecks and pull them around. And when you're doing that, you're gonna have to have full bed access, right? So you'd have to have this rolled all the way up, or if you had one of the flip style ones, you'd have to flip that all the way forward. The thing is with those flip style ones, when you do that, a lot of times you're gonna block the whole back window and you won't be able to see out. As to where the canister style ones, you're not gonna have to run into that issue. Same's gonna hold true even if you have a taller load. You know, maybe you put a four-wheeler back here or something that requires you to have this completely open. With the canister, you can keep an eye on it, see what's going on behind you and whatnot. With the flip-up ones, again, it's gonna block that back window and lose that visibility. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it seems like a lot of people are happy with this particular cover, and I can see why. You know, you get all the functionality out of it, a lot of the features that a lot of people are looking for, and it looks good too. So can't really ask for too much more. But with that said, I think that'll finish up our look at of the Pace Edwards JackRabbit tonneau covers.